It started like so many other discoveries in astronomy, quietly, without fireworks or headlines. No dazzling flash of light. No thunderous explosion of data. Just a faint, almost imperceptible blip moving across the endless black of space. At first, it looked like a comet. Then maybe an asteroid. But the more it was tracked, the more it refused to fit any category we had. It was too symmetrical to be natural, too silent to be alive, and far too precise to simply drift. Scientists remembered the strange, elongated visitor we once called Oumuamua, the shard of interstellar mystery that tumbled past our solar system years ago. But this new arrival was something else entirely, bigger, slower, and far more deliberate. The object has been named 3I, Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar visitor to our neighborhood. Unlike its predecessors, it didn't streak through space in a chaotic arc, it coasted. It seemed to know where it was going. Its path carried it past several planets in a way that maximized gravitational efficiency, as though it had plotted the solar system long before it arrived. That alone was unsettling. But when astronomers rewound its trajectory and mapped its origin, they found something even stranger. The odds of a natural object traveling this path without some kind of intelligent control were effectively zero. This was not a rogue fragment of ice and rock. It was like watching a chess piece move across a deadly board, gliding through debris fields, solar wind spikes, and gravitational hazards with perfect precision. And then came the James Webb Space Telescope. The moment Webb's powerful instruments locked on, the picture became even more disturbing. Thermal scans showed something no comet or asteroid has ever displayed, a rhythmic pulse of heat. Not random, not chaotic, but measured, like a heartbeat or a signal. Its surface contained hyper-reflective compounds never before recorded, suggesting engineered materials. Internal scans hinted at hollow structures rather than a solid core. And buried deep within, a faint electromagnetic echo repeated every 147 seconds, an identical frequency to one briefly detected in Oumuamua's tail before it vanished from view. Only this time, the signal was louder. The implications were chilling. If Oumuamua had been a scout, then 3I, Atlas might be the follow-up, a second phase. Not a passive observer, but something that is actively watching us as we watch it. For the first time, scientists began whispering about a possibility they'd never dared voice out loud. What if this was not just alien technology, but an alien intelligence? Official statements remained cautious, full of careful scientific language. But leaks from private chats and internal reports told a different story. Teams at both NASA and ESA began referring to 3I, Atlas as a consciousness engine. Its internal geometry resembled recursive fractal patterns, forms found in complex systems like brain tissue and quantum processors. It appeared to be more than just a ship. It looked like a thinking machine, a vessel that could evolve as it traveled, learning from every encounter. Then something happened that shattered the fragile sense of control. Ground-based telescopes in Chile and Hawaii recorded a sudden, precise shift in 3I, Atlas's trajectory, an adjustment not caused by gravity, solar wind, or any natural force. It wasn't random. It was timed. It was surgical. The object had changed course toward Earth's orbital plane. Someone or something had made a decision. Independent researchers began decoding the electromagnetic pulses. What they found wasn't a message in words but in ratios, the golden ratio, Fibonacci spirals, prime numbers, the same mathematical fingerprints found in DNA, galaxy structures, and ancient architecture. And it wasn't constant. The signal shifted in response to solar activity, planetary alignments, and even radio transmissions from Earth. When Webb first locked on with its infrared sensors, the pulse momentarily broke its rhythm, as if the object had noticed it was being studied. The revelations didn't stop there. Spectroscopic data revealed complex carbon molecules on its surface, pure and refined, unlike the messy mixes found in comets. These were the building blocks of life, arranged too perfectly to be random. Some theorized 3I, Atlas might be a seed ship, carrying life across star systems, a vessel designed not to destroy but to integrate. If so, Earth may not be a random flyby. It could be the destination. And then came the Antarctic anomaly. A classified high-altitude balloon detected a sudden microwave burst over the South Pole, coinciding exactly with another shift in 3I, Atlas's trajectory. Moments later, seismic stations registered ultra-low-frequency rumbles beneath the ice, frequencies identical to the pulses coming from deep space. When astronomers first began charting the path of 3I, Atlas, most expected it to behave like any other interstellar visitor. A comet, an asteroid, some wandering relic of cosmic chance. But the longer it was observed, the less sense it made. Its course wasn't random. It was deliberate. And when plotted over long periods of time, something extraordinary appeared. The intersections of its trajectory formed a spiral. Not just any spiral, but one nearly identical to patterns found in ancient cave art across South America, Africa, and even pre-dynastic Egypt. Some dismissed the connection as coincidence or pseudoscience. But others within the Webb science team quietly ran models, testing the possibility that the object's path was performative, like choreography across the heavens. What if 3I, Atlas wasn't simply traveling, but broadcasting? What if its movement encoded culture, language, or memory? A ritual in the stars, meant to be seen only by species advanced enough to recognize the pattern. Was the spiral a message of peace? Or was it a warning left by those who came before us? As debates spread through private defense circles, a radical new idea surfaced: the lock and key hypothesis. According to this theory, the strange visitor from 2017, Oumuamua, was the lock. A silent, inert object meant to test us, measuring humanity's readiness, observing how we reacted. But 3I, Atlas, that was the key. Unlike its predecessor, it was not passive. It was designed to interact, to trigger something hidden, whether buried deep within Earth, encoded in our species, or dormant in orbit. Evidence began piling up. A tiny oscillation in Earth's magnetosphere was detected, perfectly synchronized with Atlas's signal. It was invisible to the naked eye, but powerful enough to disrupt communication satellites. During the 6-minute anomaly, both Voyager probes briefly went off protocol, sending bursts of unrecognizable data. To analysts, it looked less like an error and more like a response, as though something inside them had awakened. Then came the portal hypothesis. Some researchers proposed that Atlas might not be a ship at all, but a mobile gateway. Instead of traveling through normal space, it could be folding it. Webb data revealed subtle distortions, gravitational ripples too precise to be random. Starlight bent around it in ways that defied explanation. Even time itself seemed to warp. Over a 3-hour observation, spectral readings showed a drift. Light arriving earlier than it should have. The only explanation was temporal compression. If true, then Atlas wasn't just a visitor. It was a space-time manipulator, a moving doorway, perhaps to somewhere, or something else. As Webb kept watch, another revelation came. The object was emitting radiation in a narrow band of the spectrum, between gamma and soft X-ray, a region the universe is usually silent in. The emissions pulsed with precision, like a binary code. And then the interference began. Observatories reported blind spots, overloaded sensors, even hardware failures. One prototype telescope in Australia burned out its detection chip in less than a millisecond. The conclusion was unavoidable. Atlas could blind our eyes to space. This wasn't a beacon. It was electronic warfare, subtle but intentional. When researchers measured Earth's electromagnetic fields during Atlas's closest pass, the results were staggering. Ancient volcanoes, crystal caverns, and even deep tectonic fault lines began resonating in sync with its pulses. Seismographs detected vibrations that repeated every 43 seconds, steady and heartbeat-like. Most disturbing of all, animals across the globe suddenly changed their behavior. Birds shifted migration routes. Whales diverted their paths. Even insects beneath the soil began moving differently. It was as though Earth itself was remembering something, an ancient pattern buried deep in its crust, awakened by the presence of this object. Then, a signal was intercepted. A private satellite array over the Pacific caught a transmission, not aimed at Earth but at the Moon. Encoded in multiple dimensions, amplitude, frequency, polarization, harmonic tone. It wasn't language as we know it, but it carried structure, as if executable. When its trajectory was traced, it landed on a very specific lunar coordinate, a region known for unusual mass concentrations. For decades, scientists wondered if these mascons were remnants of ancient volcanic activity. Now a darker possibility arose. What if something had been left there long before us, waiting to be activated? Not every response was scientific. Behind the scenes, a covert military probe was launched to test Atlas directly. It never made it. Just over 1 million kilometers from the object, its feed cut to black. The last transmission revealed something terrifying, a wall of charged particles, a lattice-like field similar to a Faraday cage.